You are responsible for a new team, or you've been promoted to take over a team, or you're leading a team, but in your heart, you know that the team is not performing very well. And you ask yourself, what is the first thing that I should do with my team as a team leader? In this very practical video, I will walk you through exercises for you and your team members to discover your core values. And then how to define your team's core values and team norms so your team can become aligned, motivated, and performing. Grab a pen and paper or whatever else you use for notes and let's get to work. My name is Greg Angelbert. I've had about a 20-year corporate career where I went from being a trainee to eventually a vice president and managing director of a business. And from managing myself to eventually about 1,000 people. Today I'm a master coach helping people, teams and organizations to know themselves, to imagine their future self, and to become their future selves. Values, norms, principles and rules are all important concepts that can guide individuals' behavior and decision making, as well as the team's culture and processes. But some of those terms are very distinct, while others are almost 100% overlapping. So let's simplify with just two major building blocks. The first block is with values. Values are beliefs and principles that guide an individual's or team behaviors and decision making. There is a core ideals and beliefs that individuals and teams hold about what is right or wrong, what is good or bad, or what is important or unimportant. They are shaped by a variety of factors, including the upbringing, the culture, life experiences, religion, and some personal preferences. Examples of values are shown on the screen. You can consider honesty as a value, or generosity, or you want to learn, or to be calm, etc. The second block is made of norms. Norms are the rules, principles, and standards that prescribe how a person should act, think, or feel in specific situations. It directs as well as prohibits various behaviors in various situations, whether it's formal or informal situations. Values show what individuals or communities hold as important. Norms say what has to be done in order to realize the values. Without a reference to underlying values, norms will be lacking motivation and justification. Without corresponding norms, values will be missing on specification and concrete action. For example, if you have a core value of respect in your team, this might translate into a norm that everybody will come on time to a meeting to make sure that you respect each other's time. Or it might be that you all agree that you'll arrive 10 minutes late because that's how you do things here. Let's do an exercise that you can do for yourself right now and also use as an icebreaker with your team. First, think about a core values that you have personally. Something important that anchors you and help you attribute worth to objects and behaviors. Think about a value that guides your behavior and decision making. And think about why this value is important to you. It might be a story from the past illustrating it, or you might need to describe these values through how it makes you make sense of the world. Do this for 2 minutes. You can inspire yourself from the list on the screen if you struggle to find the right words. Pause the video and do it. Now for your team icebreaker. Split your team into pairs, meaning that you will have two people and each person is going to share with the other person about their core value. Each person has 2 minutes to share with the other person their core value. Then you turn around, the other person is sharing. So it's a 4-minute exercise per pair. Then once you have done this first round, you can do a second round or a third round, so you have people sharing more of their core values with each member of the team. If you want to go deeper, continue working on individual core values for each team member until the moment that they've really defined what matters to them. Aim to get at about 5 core values for each team members and try to keep it the same number for everyone so you can share equally. Individually, everyone can continue the exercise and have more than 5 if they want. Here are some best practices for describing your personal values. First, the word or phrase that represent the value. It can be integrity, respect, accountability. Then a brief description of what the value means. Like integrity, I act with honesty, fairness and ethics in all my interactions. And then finally, the value's relevance to you. Like, integrity is essential for building trust with the people who matter in my life. Once each team member has identified their personal values, ask the team to identify common themes and values that they share. You can do that through group discussions, or you can use a tool like a word cloud so that allows to visualize what is coming most often in the discussion. Have the team discuss each of those core values and decide what should be the priority in terms of what should be included in the team's core values. And try to create an atmosphere of open discussion, of listening to each other, and also creating some consensus building. Once the team has decided on the core values, then it's time to define them and make them as clear and concise as possible. And for that, refer to the best practices mentioned for personal values. Make sure that each value is understandable and that also each team member relate to it. And also make sure that you spell the values' relevance to the team. To build and reinforce team core values, they should be embedded and used through your team's culture and your processes. You can do that through regular communication, or you can incorporate them in your regular team processes, like a scoring system for your core values. Or you can also integrate it in the way you make decisions as a team. Also, you can recognize and reward behaviors which are aligned with the team's core values. It doesn't have to be money, just, a high five, good enough. Regularly review the team's core values and assess if they are still relevant to and effective in guiding your team's decision making and your team's behavior. And if necessary, revise, adapt them according to your objectives and where you're going. You like this video so far? Then you know what to do, and also subscribe to the channel, put the notifications on if you want to receive content like this every week. For a summary of key points, tools about this video, then check out my Patreon below. Also check out the other videos from other YouTubers about this topic. You might learn a few more things. It's time to use the team's core values to develop a set of team norms. These norms should outline the expected behaviors and actions that align with the team's core values. Have your team members brainstorm a list of norms, rules, guidelines, principles that they believe would help to create a positive culture and one which is aligned with your core values. Encourage them to think about behaviors and attitudes that they would like to see more of on a day-to-day basis. Then identify core themes and group them together. This can help to simplify the list and eventually to come to a focused set of norms. Have the team discuss each identified norm and decide on what should be the priority. And like for the values, once the team has selected the core norms, then they can go into defining them and making them as clear and concise as possible. And again, make sure that each norm is easily understandable and relatable for each team member. Also incorporate your team norms now into your processes and your culture. You can use the same steps as for the team core values for that. And the same concept of having a regular review of your team norms. And follow the following best practice for defining your team norms. Keep maximum 2 to 3 norms for each value. And it can just be one. Have a clear and concise statement of the behavior or action that is expected. Have a brief explanation of why the norm is important for the team's success. Bring some specific examples of how the norm can be practiced in daily work. And frame norms in a positive way by stating what the team members should do rather than what they shouldn't do. Make sure they are measurable. And you might be tempted to use a future tense together with your verbs. Don't. As future means that you're not necessarily committed to doing it now. And of course, no conditional tense. For example, the main statement can be: we actively seek and incorporate feedback from each other in our work. Why it matters? By actively seeking and incorporating feedback, we can improve the quality of our work and increase our efficiency as a team. And then one example of behavior: when completing a project or task, we ask for feedback from at least 2 other team members before considering it complete. It is hard work to align personal and team values and personal and team norms. One great skill to learn is to see tensions in your group, in your team, as a symptom of the tension that there is in disagreement with values and norms. And there are different symptoms that you can look out for. One is that you will see more conflict and hostility in the team. You might also see that people are disengaging from the team. There will also be less humorous conversation, less puns and, play. And then you will see inefficiencies and delays in achieving your team's goals and objectives. You can ask a simple question when you see that tensions are rising about values. What could be the difference in values that we are experiencing about this specific topic? And focus on the topic. It's not about the people themselves being right or wrong about their values. And for norm, you can ask, what are the norms that we are not respecting? Or how do we feel that our current norms are not adequate for this topic? You will have all sorts of tensions between teams and individual values, norms, as well as with the organization around you or even society around you. And if you want to dig deeper on this, check out this video. You might ask, what if my company has core values? Why do I need team core values? Because at the minimum, your team needs to be relating to the core values of the organization. And you might not feel that the organization around you is living according to its core values. So instead of complaining about the fact that you're not getting a lot of good organization core value, it's just better that you define your core values for your team. And remember that core values in any organization live within the team. This is where it matters. I will leave you with a quote from Patrick Lencioni, who has written a great book about how to create a high-performing team, and it's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. Teams that share a set of values and a common purpose are more likely to achieve their goals and perform at their best. Aside from defining core values, there is another dimension to building team motivation. It is about how much autonomy, relatedness, and competence each team member has. And if you're intrigued to know more, then you might be interested in this video here.